Hi, I'm Ant from Southern Design RV in Ballarat. Welcome to part 2 of our handover tour. I'm in front of one of our yard vans and we're going to do the external tour today. So come with me and enjoy the journey. So we start the tour at the front of the van. Most models come standard with 2 gas bottles. They will be full, ready to go, and we've turned them off. Now you'll notice that we've crossed the hoses over. That's a bit neater in appearance, but just be aware that whichever way you turn the gas tap to select your gas bottle, it's always pointing to the hose and will go to the opposite bottle. On the front drawbar, you have a water tap. So this supplies cold running water for when you're outside cooking. You can also use it to bleed airlocks out of the system when you first hook up the hose for your water. This is the lowest point on the van, so this is a good place to come to bleed out airlocks. On the front awning side of the van, you've got a tunnel hatch. If we open it up, this tunnel goes all the way through to the other side, lots of storage space. Now on each end of the tunnel you've got a light. By pressing the button in the middle, you can turn it on and off. If we close the tunnel, directly underneath we've got a gas bayonet fitting, and this fitting has a gas tap. You can turn on and off just underneath the floor behind that fitting. Your main door, if you pull the handle up, will open. Locks in at 4 points. So all 4 of these points must engage properly into the strike plates, otherwise you won't be able to turn the key. So when you shut this door, give it a gentle push. You should hear a click, just like that. That means it's engaged properly. Then you'll be able to turn the key and lock and unlock the door. To release the screen door from the main door body, pull this little lever sideways on the side gently and lift up the bottom handle, and that will release the 2 door halves. To bring them back together, there's a top and bottom locking point on the door. Make sure it clicks in top and bottom. Then on the back of the door there's a little knob. If you open and close that little lever by turning the knob, that locks and unlocks it from inside. Now next to the door you'll have a night light. So what this for is if you decide you can't be bothered cooking dinner tonight, before you head off when it's dark, press this light once. You get a little blue backlight behind the handle. Then when you come back in the dark, you'll find the handle quickly, press it again, that'll put on the main light. You can find your keys, get in the door and turn all the lights on. Every Design RV van is provided with a picnic table. Now it's locked with a key, and the easy way to remember it is it says 12:12. I always just say it's 12 o'clock, it's time for lunch. So with this key we can unlock the table, lock it down in position and you're ready to go. Now you can use this for toasters, kettles, put your TV here. Obviously it's not a seat, but one thing we'd ask that you please don't do on this table is high temperature cooking. Things like propane cookers and the like, just in case you do heat damage to the side of the van. Now every picnic table has near it a 240 volt power outlet, a double USB port, TV aerial port and your 12 volt socket, all ready to go. When you're heading off down the road, fold your table away and lock it up. And now that's ready to travel. If you ever need to change a tyre on your van, look for this small plate down here. It says ARV on it, who's the manufacturer of our chassis. Your jack is designed to hook into this little plate. That's the safe lifting point. Whether you've got single axle or dual axle, it's the one lifting point to safely lift up your van and change your tyres. Now your tyre pressures, if you head to the other side of the van, on the driver's side in the tunnel boot, you'll find a compliance plate and that will have your tyre pressure ratings on the plate for your van. On the awning side of your van, you'll have an awning light. So you can use the switch inside to turn it on and off, and also you'll see this small black vent up there. That's the vent for your range hood. The majority of our vans come standard with a spare tyre mounted on the back bumper bar. Now you've also got up here a camera, that's got your camera and microphone, and on the very back corner you'll see here a black vent. That's the back of the shower. So the reason why that vent is there is an access point to get into plumbing at a later time if we need to. On each corner of the van you've got a corner support stand. To release them, pull this handle, that'll drop it down. You can put on an angle if you like, and they're supplied with a crank handle. So you use this to wind the stands up and to wind them down. Now you might want to resist the temptation to use an impact driver on this. It has 2 corner gears with a roll pin. If you over tension it, you can shear that roll pin off. Now one thing we'd ask with these stands is please don't use them to level up the van. So if your van is out of level, chock it up under the tyres and then put these down just enough so that you support each corner. When you're travelling, I would suggest that you point them to the back of the van. Many of our vans come with a generator hatch. If we open it up, it's a fully galvanised box and it's all silicone sealed. So you could put a small generator in here or maybe some hoses or something like that. A great little storage space. You'll also have a toilet cassette hatch. If we open this up, you'll see this T-handle down here. That locks it into position. To pull it out, lift up the handle. You've got a handle on top, wheels on the side, and you can almost use that as suitcase luggage. Now, if you can't pull this out, you'll see this little knob on the top. If your flap is open on the toilet inside, it does this, and you will not be able to pull the cassette out. So head inside, close the flap on the toilet, that'll line this up, and then you'll be able to pull it in and out easily. Now this is the most important part of the whole tour. Before you take this cap off to empty out the contents, make sure you press this orange button. That is your pressure release valve. Press that first, then take the cap off, otherwise you might smell a little bit different afterwards. So you tip it up, hold the button in to release the back pressure, all the contents will come out into the drainage pit. There'll be a hose, flush it out with the hose. Now when you give it a little rinse, just give it a very gentle swirl. Don't shake this vigorously, otherwise you might dislodge the level sensor inside. Once you finish, put your cap on and fold it back. Slide your cassette in, and at this point you'll head inside, open up your toilet flap and put your chemicals down for the next cycle. On the rear driver's side of your van, you'll find your grey water outlet. This has got a 25mm barbed fitting, so a 25mm hose will go on there. Now if you have a different size hose, that's okay, you can unscrew this fitting and put a different one on. For standard vans, they will not have a storage tank. If you've decided to get a grey water tank, you'll have a blue valve underneath here. You pull that forward, that'll open it up and allow the water to come out. If you're in a free camping situation, you'd use this tank. If you're at a caravan park, put your hose on, bring it back to the sullage pit, open up that tap, and that'll allow all the water to come out. Now everything goes into that sullage tank, whether it's your shower, your washing machine, your kitchen sink, it all goes through this point first. Now behind this wheel here, you'll see you've got your mains water connector. So you put your mains pressure water hose on here. Now when you're traveling, we usually provide you with a little rubber boot to go over there just to stop dirt getting in. Behind it you'll see there's a one-way pressure limiting valve. Now these don't like dirt. If it does malfunction, you can fix it with vegetable oil. We've got a YouTube video on how to do that, so we'll include that in the comments just down below. So that's your water mains pressure point that you can bring your mains water in. You've got your mud flap, and directly here you've got one of your water tanks. Now your tanks are 95 litres each. On the front you've got a black tap, that's to drain it out with, and on the back you've got a tap that's in line with the hose, that means it's on. If you turn it 90 degrees to the hose, that means it's off. So this hose here goes up to the water pump. Both tanks have got one. You can isolate this tank if you want to, or you can turn it on. When you pick your van up, both hoses are on. So both of your hoses, both of the tanks will have the water coming evenly off them when you pick it up. But if you want to, you can drain one of the tanks and turn it off if you are just doing a lot of caravan park camping. So with your battery boxes, these lithium batteries do cost quite a bit of money. So I'd protect your investment and put a padlock through both of these doors just to protect your investment. On top of the batteries, There'll be a fuse box. It'll be a 40 amp orange blade fuse. So if you have any issues with the batteries, it might be a good place to come and look at that fuse box. You've also got your Swift 28 litre hot water service here. Now these hot water services are stainless steel. There's no sacrificial anode and they are maintenance free. But every 6 months you might want to take these 2 screws here out, open up the door, you'll find a pressure release valve inside there. Give the valve a few pulls, make sure it's not sticking, and then put the screws back in and away you go. On the side of your chassis, just in front of your battery box, you've got a blue Anderson plug. Now that's for if you want to add another solar panel or solar blanket, get extra power in. Now if you decide to use this, please make sure that you do not have a regulator on your blanket or solar panel. This system already has a regulator built into it, so you do not need a regulator. Now just a note, grey plugs don't fit into blue plugs, so if you do have a grey or a red plug on your solar panel, get it swapped over so it has a blue plug. On the front driver's side of your van, you've got your power input. This is a 15 amp plug, and next to it you have your circuit breaker. So if this is flicked down, that means it's off. To re-engage it, turn it back up. So if you have any electrical issues in your mains power, just come and check this circuit breaker here. Now inside this tunnel, if we open it up, just up here you've got a compliance plate. On the driver's side tunnel of your van, you've got a compliance plate mounted. Now it's got all your vital information. It has your cold tyre pressure in kPa. Now there is one measurement here that says tare mass. That's the empty weight of your caravan, so that does not include water in the tanks or gas in your bottles. Now with 190 litres plus the gas in the bottles, you're easily going to exceed 200 kilos if they're all full. So whatever this base figure here is, always add more than 200 Ks just to make sure you're safe. Now there's an ATM rating. That's the absolute maximum weight that this van can take, and that's not taking into consideration your vehicle. So there might be limitations on that weight according to your vehicle. So your ATM and your tare mass are there. You've got your tyre pressure, and also it's got on there your chassis number. So that's your compliance plate. Keep an eye out for it when you're looking around your van. So I'm going to demonstrate to you how to use the Aussie Traveller awning. On each arm you'll find that there's a lock just behind the arm. You slide it up and then loosen off the knob underneath it. We do that on both ends. Underneath your bed or in your tunnel boot, you'll have one of these hooks. So have this ready with you. On the end of the cylinder down here, you'll have a lever. Hook the hook over the lever and pull it down. Now it's ready to retract out. You've got a strap in the center of your awning. We suggest that you keep the strap central. It's better for the arms, it balances out the load when you go to pull it out. So you get your hook, hook it into the strap, and pull it outwards. Just like that. Now if it's windy, we would recommend a strong wind that you don't put it down. Now both arms have got these supports, so they slide in and click into the black button. You can lock them in and out. You put that up both sides. Then you can start to incrementally bring each side up. So on the side you've got a grab handle. You grab a hold of it, there's a spring-loaded catch behind it. You pull it up and lock it into position. Once it's up, tighten up the knob each end, and now that's ready to go. Now if you've got a situation where you've got rain, you can put your drum on a slight taper. That will enable the rain to run down one end. To bring it down is just the opposite. You loosen off the knob for the supports each end, grab onto the handle. You'll have to lift it up a bit to take pressure off the catch and start dropping it down. Now a little tip, when you're dropping it down, always stand on the outside. Otherwise, when you do drop it down, if you're inside, you've got to keep bending in underneath it all the time, which is an absolute nuisance. So once you've got it down, you press the black button here, slide this back, and now it's ready to retract up. Now if there's two of you, it's really easy to put up. One just holds the strap in the middle and the other one flicks the lever. You might have to press it down a little bit when you go to flick the lever just to take some of the pressure off it. Now if there's only one of you, this is how I do it. Grab your hook, slide the strap down to this end and hold onto it very tightly. Flick the lever forward and then put your hand on top of here and slide it back towards the centre. When you bring the strap up, put it on a slide angle. Allow it to twist around in a circular motion. Next time you do it, put it a bit further the other way and go a different angle. So keep moving it around. If you do that, that will keep the canvas in better condition. Now the other thing to look out for is don't just let it go. Sometimes if you go and let it go and it just springs up against the side of the van, it can lock it into position and can be very hard to get out. So I would use the hook every time and just put it back gently. Once you've done that, slide down your slide locks and do up the knobs each end on the arms. And now you're ready to travel. And don't forget to take this with you. There'd be nothing worse than forgetting to take this. So that's your Aussie Traveller awning, how to bring it in and out. You can get other options, like for example anti-flap kits. Maybe we'll do another workshop and talk about that some other stage. So that concludes the external tour of the van. We hope you enjoyed the tour. Now next week we're going to talk about the hookup process. So stay tuned, there's more good things to come.